Right. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook merging. Woohoo. All right. So I prepared presentation for you. I hope we can do this in like 30 minutes. Depends on how many questions you have, etc., etc. So as you might know, I did like a marketing co-creation space the previous weekend, right? And then we had about 5 LCs representing there. And then together with them, I already discussed about Facebook merging, and they gave a lot of inputs and a lot of questions. And basically, some of the outputs that you will see here is basically decided together with them. So maybe for Veronica, it might be a bit boring because she's not there. Okay, good. She knows how to skip repetition. Okay, so let's see what we came up with. So firstly, what I'm basically going to discuss today is why Facebook merging is something that is happening globally in all ISEC entities, what exactly it is, how our timeline will look like and the process will look like, and what is the main things that we actually need to do as ISEC in Malaysia to move forward, both from your side as LCPs, but also in general steps that we need to take as a network. So firstly, to understand why different entities are actually doing Facebook merging, as you know, is part of the customer flow implementation. Because since the main thing about establishing a clear customer flow is actually on how we can become a much more customer-centric entity for youth, right? So it's about how we can create one funnel from the moment that customers hear about ISEC for the very first time up until the end, where they actually go through a leadership development experience and they become brand advocates. But then we see that all the way at the beginning of the funnel, when entities are actually hearing about ISEC for the first time, there is a lot of mixed channels that they don't always know how to reach us. And one of those reasons is because we have a ton of local Facebook pages, and then when you just Google ISEC in Malaysia, for example, I remember when I was just elected and I actually wanted to know whether ISEC in Malaysia has already merged pages or not. At first, I thought that the entity had, because I was just Googling ISEC in UPM, for example, then I cannot find this page. Then only afterwards, I realized, oh, it's all called ISEC in Malaysia, something, something. So as an outsider, I can actually not find the information that I'm looking for at the start. So this is one of the main things that globally they are changing, as we are trying to represent one brand and trying to be united as one ISEC in Malaysia, but also beyond that. And that's why this year, as of I think last month, 2 months ago, yeah. So they launched new customer flow implementation checklist on which certain things are different from last year, including to get to 100%, you now need to merge all local Facebook pages. So currently I'm actually like the PIC for customer flow implementation for ISEC in Malaysia. And then at the moment we are stuck at 50% because the only thing that we're missing is this merging local Facebook pages. Everything else we're trying to still also improve that further, but we have it to the degree that we can check off in the checklist. Then Facebook merging is the only final thing that we need to do to move to 100% within this MC term still. The main things that are stopping us when we are currently doing digital marketing, well, when we're doing digital marketing or anything on like external digital channels, we have some key objectives for everything that we do, right? One of the things that we're trying to do is to really grow the brand reach. We're trying to become a trusted and established brand. We want to attract new customers. We want to make sure that ISEC is attractive and So the algorithm is the thing that completely calculates how high is the chance of your friend actually seeing what you do on Facebook. And the way it's calculated, it's like, yeah, it's quite complicated. Like, I don't study engineering like half of you. So basically, it's based on three main things. So on the one hand, it looks at, wait, it's clearer in this slide actually. So on the one hand, it looks at how often you as an individual are actually interacting with that brand on Facebook and the types of posts that you're interacting with. So for example, if you are, I don't know, Jessie, for example, and you like almost everything when something gets posted up on ISEC in Malaysia, then chances of her friends seeing it becomes actually higher because she is doing it on a regular basis. Oh, really? And yeah, and it's clear that she's like loyal to the brand basically. Then it also depends on the type of interaction that you have. So for example, whether you commented, whether you shared, whether you watched a video, all of these things also have different weights of importance in the algorithm. And then the third thing is that it also depends on how long it has been since the post until you interact with it. So let's say, for example, one of the key things that helps a lot in boosting your reach on your Facebook page is, for example, if you interact with it within the first 15 minutes. That's why when we were at SRLC, I made Audrey like stand in the plenary and ask you all like, okay, can you all share this video now? Which was basically 15 minutes after I posted it. Because in the algorithm, these all are things that boost our reach, yeah? And the chances that your friends are seeing it. Now, the problem with this algorithm is that Facebook is constantly changing it. So constantly there's small changes being done and the weights are being changed. And mostly in the last 6 months, and overall, like it's been a bigger trend, but especially in the last 6 months, most of those changes, they are pushing you towards really investing and doing paid advertisement, etc. So on your current pages, no matter that maybe you are more active than last year, etc., it's becoming harder and harder to actually boost your reach. And overall, like your page reach will be going down if you keep doing the same thing, just because the algorithm keeps changing and it's becoming harder and harder. So this is one of the main things that is actually keeping us from raising more awareness in Malaysia about ISEC. Because keep doing the same things is not, it doesn't keep bringing us the same results. Actually, it starts bringing us less results because of these changes. So this is basically already why you should care about this algorithm, because most of your Facebook fans, they never actually see when you post something, and they will just check out all the possible stories, and then the algorithm will decide for you, okay, I think you will find this interesting, so I think I will put it on your wall. That's why also, for example, the algorithm also prefers to have original content. So for example, a few months ago, I taught my VPs on how to cross-post videos instead of just sharing it from ISEC Malaysia page, because I know that their reach will improve if they do it that way. So it's quite complicated, but that's the overall trend of what's happening on Facebook and how businesses are trying to adapt and trying to work with it. That means that the way this algorithm works, that is the main reason why today quality content is the top reason why customers still follow a brand, because they only see the best things anymore. So you're used to seeing viral videos on your wall, and that's the type of quality content that you're getting used to. And that's the only thing that you will still like automatically start sharing without being asked, etc., etc. So it's basically this algorithm is shaping our customers' behaviors now. That means that as ISEC in Malaysia, we also need to start actually changing on what type of content we're putting out there. So very often we're putting just push content, right? But then actually we need to evolve this to pull content through setting up really brand stories. So what is ISEC really about, and what is the story that we're trying to tell as an organization? Then also direct storytelling. So what is the stories of our products and what is the stories of our customers? And then we need to couple that with current trends. So for example, in the weekend, I was discussing with some of the VPs that attended on how, even though we're not a political organization, if Malaysia is going to be having elections, how this actually might influence our content that we're putting up on that week. These types of things, because when we know what is happening and what is going on in the daily discussions of Malaysian youth, then we can actually use that to our advantage in our content. But then as long as we keep having all of these different local pages, then basically we're actually representing many different ISECs towards our possible customers. Even though for us, actually, it should go more simple. In ISEC, we just need to do 3 things when it comes to digital marketing. We need to create, publish, and analyze. And best thing is if we do that only once and not 14 times. And if we do that, then for our customers, it also becomes easier. They find our content, they engage with our content, and then they interact with our brand by signing up and buying our product, basically. So it's a way of simplifying the process. So this is the main reasons for merging. Firstly, so we can be one ISEC in Malaysia and represent one brand, because in the end, ISEC in TU or ISEC in Sunway or ISEC in Kuching is all the same ISEC. It's also about branding and making sure that we improve the quality of what we're actually putting out there. So this was something that when I did train the marketers weekend, and Eva actually came in to present on how to design things to be aligned with the brand. That most of the LCs that were there also realized that, okay, some of the things that I'm putting out there is actually, even though I think it might be aligned with Blue Book, is actually not representing ISEC in the correct values or sending out the correct message. And then this is something that we cannot control currently. Then we can also have more countrywide reach. So it doesn't matter that much in which campuses we actually have local chapters. But what about all of the areas in Malaysia where we're currently not present? We can actually start reaching if we are more united. And then it's also about customer centricity. It becomes more easier for our customer to find us and to have a very clear journey from beginning until end in their customer journey, basically. Cool. Do you have any questions?
No. Clear.
She's so happy. Okay. So this is basically why we are merging. Someone said something. No. James, you had a question?
Oh, and like, so when will the merging take place?
Yeah.
And it's like the process, like, so like, because currently for our Facebook pages we have like admins and so on. So like, what happens to that? Just want to know the process and like roughly when it will happen. That's about it.
Yes. So I will explain more about the process and the timeline later on, and also some of the most frequent asked questions that came up in the weekend. And then I think I will actually be answering most of your questions.
Thanks so much, Sarah.
Yeah. If at the end there's still things that I didn't answer, then you ask me. This is also one of the messages that I want to be very honest on. It's kind of a plug and play kind of thing. So for sure we will merge, but we also know that it's a very technical process, and sometimes there's questions that I also don't know the answer to, and then I'm asking around with all different MCVPs to see whether they also encountered that. So already during the weekend there were some questions that I was like, oh, I don't know, but I will find out. So this is also something that I actually expect from this space, for you to have more questions like that for me, so we don't have like unpleasant surprises afterwards just because I didn't think of it. All right, so what is merging exactly? So basically it's quite a technical process, and it's an option that Facebook provides if you're an admin. And originally Facebook put this option in case you have duplicate pages. So when I would request for merging, it would actually say merge duplicate page. What does that mean? It means that when I set the process in motion, Facebook will literally compare both of the pages. So it will compare, for example, ISEC in TU page to ISEC in Malaysia page. And then it will determine, are they actually the same? Is this actually the same brand, the same company, etc.? That means that the pages need to be as similar as possible. What happens when you merge is that basically the larger page, it keeps its content and then it absorbs the smaller page. From the smaller page, it means that you keep your likes, your followers, and your reach, and it just gets transferred to the National ISEC in Malaysia page. So all of your followers that are currently liking ISEC in TU page, but they're not liking ISEC in Malaysia, they will become followers of ISEC in Malaysia automatically. That means that in the month that we are merging, our likes and followers will go up a lot. The content itself on your local page is not maintained, but you can download it beforehand. So this is also something in the process that I will guide and support you with doing that, so you don't lose any of your past data or past images that you put up, etc. So some of the questions that I got during the weekend is, firstly, like, are we the first to start the process? No. The first one was actually Isaac in Mexico, who did it 3 years ago, and they kind of did it as a test, like, because they thought it would be a good idea, not really knowing what the consequences would be. And then it turned out to be very, very successful. And today they're actually one of the entities that is globally in the Isaac network, the most well known for having very good digital marketing and very good storytelling, etc. In Asia Pacific region, there's already Australia, for example, that merged Facebook pages like 1.5 years ago. And currently at the same moment as us, there's Vietnam and Thailand also already in the process, which is a good thing, because it means that if we run into any problems or we have any questions, we actually already have references that we can ask. Then most of my VPs also asked me whether they can still keep their local Instagram. For this, yes, you can keep your local Instagram, and if you have this currently linked to your Facebook page, it will just unlink when I merge. So you can still keep your local Instagram and you can manage this yourself. However, you should actually properly leverage the strength and the purpose of this channel. And the channel of Instagram is visual storytelling. So that means that your Instagram content should actually start being focused fully on brand advocacy and showcasing the stories of your EPs. So I'm saying this because you should be mindful that you don't just allow your VPs to start putting like all the things that they normally put on Facebook on Instagram, because the channels are different. And then also, can you still submit localized content? So for example, if you have a local event, how can you make sure that it actually gets showcased through Facebook, right? Basically, what we will do is we will set up a workflow via Podio and a system where you actually submit the content in advance, at least 7 days in advance normally. So we can create these events or announce, like, for example, if you have a local partnership and it's in your MOU that this would be posted on Facebook, etc., then we have this Podio workflow for that. Of course, we cannot just put up everything and just like bombard everything with local content. So there does need to be like a clear process for that. It needs to be done in a timely manner. And also what we will do is we will set geographical location. So it means that when I put this on the page, that I would already limit the people that actually get to see it on their wall only to be like, yeah, the students of Sunway to see this Isaac in Sunway new partnership with Uber, for example. So one of the things that we need in order to actually make that work in the best way possible is that we need a stronger EST team to actually manage this process. And then some of the local happenings, they cannot be posted, but we have different ways of still making sure that they get to your customers. So some of those different ways I will also explain a bit later in the presentation. Then after we merge my local page, does my LC still do digital marketing? Was the most asked question, basically. So the digital marketing activities that you still do in one of your sub-teams of B2C is consistent mostly of managing the local Instagram channel, and connected to this, really doing story collecting. Then managing the local university digital ecosystem. So what does that mean? For example, if your university already has a student platform on which you can actually post, or if your university libraries, they have maybe flat screens hanging everywhere on which you can make announcements, or if different faculties or students already have Facebook groups per study in which they are posting, and you are also allowed to post in there. So basically, you're making use of some local digital ecosystem that is there. Then also you manage local Facebook events. So if you decide to organize an info session, you submit via the Podio flow for me to create this event on the Isaac in Malaysia page with your banner that you designed and all of these things. Then within that Facebook event, you are the one managing the content. And instead of only posting there like logistical updates, etc., you can actually run a proper campaign in there related to the event. Then you also do still email marketing, and you also contribute to the national content. And how to do this, I will also explain a bit more later on. So I hope it's quite clear until now, I think. Then, what exactly would be our timeline? So overall, when we discussed this weekend, all the 5 LCs that were there, they were very much in agreement with it. They were like, okay, we need to do this as soon as possible. It's as simple as that. So that's why this week is basically the week of trying to make sure that everyone in the network is on the same page. That's why I did this co-creation weekend, presenting to you today. Tomorrow I will be having commission meeting to make sure that also the VPs that were not in the weekend are also aware. And then in the weekend I will give further a webinar for anyone else that is actually interested and also wants to have this information, whether it's a member or director, or whether it's in OGV or I don't know, in IGV. If you care about it, you can actually get the information by just following that webinar. Then in this week, the first thing that needs to happen is that I need to get admin rights to all of your local Facebook pages. So currently I already have to some, because this is something that I asked all the way in the beginning of my term, but then of course only some of my VPs did it, and back then it was only like for analytics and better understanding of the local page. So now for the remainder also needs to happen, and then after that we can actually get started. So on the 2nd of January is the first day, is the day on which we can start doing the first merge. And during our co-creation weekend, Isaac and UPM actually volunteered to be the first page to merge, which I decided was quite a good idea for a simple reason, right? So basically what needs to happen is, the first thing that needs to happen is I need to become admin of all the local pages. Secondly, I want to do basic Facebook analytics to determine the ranking of the page. The way it works is that since Facebook compares, right, it take more time for some pages than for others before the merge is completed, because it's dependent on how successful your page is, like how many followers you have already. If you have only 200 likes on a page compared to like 5K, then the 5K, it will take more time maybe to merge. So because of that, it seemed like a good idea to actually start with Isaac and UPM, because from what I can see, they are kind of in the middle. Like, they're not the most successful page, but they're definitely also not the smallest. And they have been consistent in putting up content. So if we start with them, it will give us the best idea on average how long it takes to merge one page. Then after that, what I would like to do is, after this first pilot, I would like to create like ranking of all the pages, to start with the smallest ones first, because logically speaking, they will go fastest, and also looking at summer peak is the most important for them. For them, the effect will be the biggest. So what I mean is that some of you have more HR capacity and are able to run like very good campaigns currently and putting up very good content and everything. Then some LCs are currently really not able to do that because they simply don't have the members or they don't have the capacity for that. So it makes more sense to merge those first. So I want to base this ranking on simple system, mostly the amount of opens, the amount of signups that you're currently getting via Facebook. This is something that I can just analyze through Expa. Secondly, the amount of Facebook likes, so how many followers you currently have on your page. And then how is the management of the page? So how often per week have you been posting in the last 2 months? So this way we can start with the smallest, least active LCs, and we can lead up to the bigger ones. The way the Facebook merging works is that you can only merge one page at a time. So once we have this ranking, what we need to do is, for all of the pages, we need to change contents on the pages in order for the pages to be as most similar as possible. So what does that mean? For example, I need to change the location. So all of the location of your pages, it needs to become our Isaac in Malaysia address. And even on the map, I need to like make sure that the arrow is at exactly the same place. The about section on like where you explain what your page is about should be exactly the same as the Isaac in Malaysia one. Should make sure that the favicon, the cover, all of these things are exactly the same, because this will make it easier and things will go faster for Facebook to determine that yes, we are all Isaac and actually it makes sense to merge this. Then from there, I also need to add all of those pages to Facebook Business Manager. So this is basically, it's a platform that is used by companies that are having a lot of different pages and a lot of different accounts, and it makes it possible for you to manage all of those accounts from the same system. Each time when we put in such changes, what Facebook requires is like some waiting time because before you can do the next change. So these are all changes that we can do at the same time. But after that, when we start first one with UPM, we will need some waiting time. Because then what needs to happen is we need to change the name of the page because the name should be exactly the same. So we will call it ISEC in Malaysia 1 instead of ISEC in Malaysia University Pahang blah blah blah. So it should be exactly the same. When we change this name, of course, our customers will actually notice that we are doing something. So because of that, we also need to very clearly communicate to them. So I will create a very simple image that all of you can pin to your page, announcing why we are merging and what we stand for as an organization. And we can also run a small campaign in which we actually communicate more about our brand and that we are actually present in all of the country. So this is basically to make it clear for our customers that it's simple, okay? It's like when you create a new website, you also just put your announcement that, okay, we are moving websites, right? So it's basically the same. Then when we change the name of the page, right before, then we need to wait a period of 3 days before I can request merge. So one of the things that ISEC in Thailand gave me as input is that one thing that we can consider doing and that we can test maybe for the smallest page is in between to unpublish the page. That means that during those 3 days, the only one that can see your page is are the admins. So me basically and the VP marketing in the LC. And your customers cannot see the page in those 3 days, so they don't get confused about the changing names, etc. This is something that I propose to do with the smallest one, so basically with the second LC, to see what is the difference or to see what is the best option, basically. Because some entities are doing this, some are not. I think it mostly depends on how active your customers are also and how clearly you communicate to them. Then you basically request a merge. And requesting this, so the merging process itself, right? It depends, like I said, on how big your page is and all of these things. So it can be done in 10 hours or it can take a maximum of 10 days. This is the average this is basically the average that it takes. And it's dependent on different factors and is a bit unpredictable, basically. But we do know that 10 days is the absolute maximum, so far, at least from all the entities that I talk to, and it's a lot. And also everything that I can find on, Google, basically. Google is your friend. Yeah. So this is our basic timeline, how we can get started. Then the main thing that we are considering is, because of course when we are doing this process, we don't want to endanger any attraction for Summer Peak, right? So if we notice that there is anything that is taking too much time, or things are like too delayed or something that we can consider is that we will see how far we get by the end of January. Then we can see, can we continue without it impacting our attraction, or do we have to put pause and continue after March? This is something we will evaluate by the time we go to National Planning Meet. That's the correct name of the conference.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions? I'm a very smooth talker, you know.
Yeah. Question.
Questions? Okay. If no questions, I continue, okay? All right.
Oh, I thought just someone say want to ask question, then I stop for a while. I have.
Yeah, okay, you can ask. And then
So is it means that once we merge the Facebook, then there will only be one Facebook to browse all of the entities under ISEC Malaysia, is it?
yes. So you will only find ISEC in Malaysia, and then also secondary, what we also need to look at is like our IGV side, right? So in the end, what we want to have is only ISEC in Malaysia page and Youth for Global Goals page.
So meaning that the local entity page will be closed down after the Facebook merge is done.
You don't close it. When you merge it, it automatically gets absorbed, basically. So after the merging is finished, you will already no longer be able to find your separate local page, and all of the data is transformed to ISEC in Malaysia page.
Understood.
Yeah, second question here.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, for the second question, regarding because it's not only the local, means some LLC they not only have the local, they also have a like product or project page. So is it possible those product page being merged together page first before the Isaac Malaysia page? Because that's what I know, because in my LC I know my VP marketing want to merge the OGT page. However, just direct close down the page, and I think it's quite waste for that lah. So is it possible to let them the small pages before we merge into Isaac Malaysia page?
The thing is that it will be quite hard for you to merge those pages also, because Facebook will not recognize them as being the same. So you mean, for example, if you have a separate page like for global talent, right, in the past, or like a COP project, it will be like, it will actually take more time, even though it's a smaller page, simply because the content is completely different. Like, it will be harder for Facebook to recognize that yes, it's similar. That's
Okay,
why,
understood.
and also looking at the success of those pages is actually not really worth our effort, because most of those followers, they will actually also be following your local page, and I don't think that there is many of those separate pages that really have a lot of followers. But what we will do is, what we do want to do is, if you have local like COP pages or Youth for Global Goal pages, then those we will also eventually merge with the National Youth for Global Goal page.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. Other questions?
I got a question here.
Yes.
Actually, like, since you mentioned that if the local project wants its merged, that means the previous content is one, correct? And you must actually back it up, correct? And are not lost. Is it something that you mentioned?
Yeah, you got cut a little bit, but you mean the content of the local page, whether you can back it up, right? Is that what you asked? Are they still there? I think the connection is a bit.
Yeah, can you hear local content? Yep.
Yeah. So what you can do is, before we merge, you can actually download everything. So there's a function on Facebook that enables it for you to download all of the past content, all of the past posts that you put, and the data, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, can you type?
Yeah, I think you should type, because your connection.
Like your interview.
Oh my God, that was horrible.
Hello.
Yeah, I cannot hear you. I think you should type your question.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Now it's actually okay. So let's try again. You can ask again.
The fuck? You can type me on Telegram if you want.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just type it in Telegram to Eva, and then she will ask the question. Then you can do it from your phone.
I will text him like just continue.
Yeah, he will come back later. Any other questions? No one? Okay, cool.
I think so far no.
Thank you. Then I will continue with the final part of the presentation. Eva, how do I go back to the... Yes. Okay. So, for final part. So basically, what is our way forward? So first thing that I'm currently doing is building a full-on digital marketing tracker. So Eva will post the link of this tracker.
Already in
Ah,
the group.
Okay, it's in your NEB group already, so you can go to it and you can check it there. So basically, it's a Google Sheet in which you will see everything like content calendar, analysis of our Facebook, analysis of our Instagram. So currently, it's only the framework; it's not fully filled in yet.
You wanna open it here?
Yeah. And then you will see on the very first tab, there is a tracker for the merging itself. So you can see here which are the pages that I already have admin rights to and which are the pages that I don't have admin rights to. So I need you to do two things. Firstly, if you notice that I don't have admin rights to your page, to make sure that I will have by Friday. That's the first thing. The second thing is I need you to check whether if you have any SU that you know has also a local page, whether you can check whether it's in the list. Because for that, I cannot be 100% sure that I found all of them.
Is that in the PPT?
No.
The code to action.
Yeah, it's in the later one. Yeah. So basically, this is the main tracker that we will be using for everything and that I will be developing further, that you all have access to so you can see what's happening and how our process is going. Then what we're doing is we're trying to onboard a digital marketing manager to enhance the capacity of MC also. Because currently I've been running like EST positions twice already, and currently the pipeline is a bit lacking still. And then we cannot risk merging pages and at the same time not having the capacity to actually put up decent content. So that's why we decided to onboard an additional manager underneath me in the MC structure. Then we want to build further proper EST team. So what we came out with during the co-creation space in the weekend is that it can be a steady EST team that manages the overall content and the campaigns, but then based on different campaigns, we can have a working group where LCs want to actively contribute to a specific campaign. And then it can be LCs and EST together that create content for this specific campaign. And this way we can also make sure that there's actually good quality and consistency. Because what some of the other entities are doing is, for example, putting minimums on like every LC should send in at least one video per month. But then with the current capacity and the current current skills that are at local level, we cannot be sure that this content can actually be used in a consistent way, or everything might look like completely different and then we have to redo everything anyway before we put it on the page. So that's why we decided to work more with steady EST team and then working groups for the specific projects. Then we need to work out further the content lines and the calendar for summer peak. So this is something that was also tackled during the weekend already. So we have our content lines basically decided by your VPs and overall like monthly priorities, as well as some campaigns that we're working on. This will be fully outputted by Friday, and then everyone still has option like to give more input. So for example, if you see like, oh, there's gonna be a campaign around this, or there's gonna be monthly focus around Chinese New Year, I have a brilliant idea for a video or for a post, then you can just let us know and we work on that, or we can work on that together with whoever wants to. Then we want to keep building capacity through Train the Marketers. So we will keep doing Train the Marketers every few months. So currently we will probably do at the end of February or beginning March. And I'm actually talking to some of the MCVPs in the region to see whether we can do a regional TTM.
Oh my god! So cool!
Yeah, she didn't know about that yet. So we're trying to see whether we can get some funding for that. Maybe we can connect it to APC, etc. And then I will set up the content submission space on Podio. So we already reactivated the Podio workspace mostly to submit brand advocacy content. And then in the upcoming weekend, I will also create like additional apps in there and the workflow on how you actually put in the content if you want me to create an event, etc. Then there needs to be provided education on how to really manage planning and content submission properly. Because the thing is, of course, if you get delayed on timeline, right, and then it's February and you actually still don't know what type of physical activities that you will do, or when you will be holding an info session, etc., then of course it will happen that you maybe sent in these things super last minute, and that we are not able to put it up on the page in time. So this is something where we really need to improve the education and our timing on how we do planning and how we can submit the content, how we basically put it into our backwards planning, in our backwards plan timeline. Also, how to work with paid advertisement. This is something that as LC, you can have more targeted Facebook ads, which means not boosting your posts, but specifically sending out ads that only appear on the wall of students in Sunway or students in UPM, etc. So this is the general thing what we need to do as ICK Malaysia. Then there's still some final call to actions that I have for you as LCPs and leaders of your local committees, basically. It's very simple. So first, you need to make sure that Sarah, this one, is admin by Friday of your local page, as well as your SU page, if you have. Then you need to bring this information that I'm giving you to your EB and to collect more questions and unclarities that might be there and send them to me so I can clarify them. So some of the questions that I got during the weekend were things that I hadn't thought of before. For example, what happens with the money that we currently have in our Facebook ads account? I don't know. So yesterday I sent messages to those MCVPs that I know have already merged to ask and to find out for you. This is something that I didn't think of until Veron actually asked me in the weekend. So make sure that you discuss this with your EB, that you try to answer everything that you actually believe was in this presentation already. And then if there are things that they come up with that I didn't think of, then you just send me. So you onboard your full EB in this change management process. Then what I need you to do is to source local talent and encourage them to actually apply for EST. If you have people or directors or members that you know already have like very deep passion for digital marketing and already have some basic skills, then you make sure that they apply it. If you have people that you think are potential talent, so they don't have the skills yet, but you think they have the interest and they have some like learning attitude and all of that, then you make sure that they attend Train the Marketers, so they become EST in the future. Then for all communication on Facebook merging, you just maintain very fast communication with me. So that means that when I send in updates or I contact you for some like last minute things that need to happen, then just make sure that there's 100% response rate, so we don't have to delay the timeline just because of like lack of response. Because it's a technical process, so it's already unpredictable how long the technical side of it will take. So let's make sure that the human side, the things that are up to us, that we don't delay those. That was everything. I feel like I talked a very long time. I'm not sure, but I hope everything was a bit clear. And that means that now you can have like still the final questions if you still thought of anything more. Can you go back to the, yeah, so I can see their faces. Okay. Do you have any questions? No.
If you don't have any question, can you put a wave in the chat box?
Yes.
Okay. I got one question, like just now the one I was asking. After the pages have been merged, right? And since the local content will be deleted, so what will previous likers of the local page see?
What will previous what?
Likes?
Let me repeat. So like after the pages have been merged, right? The local page and the national page. So also the local content will be deleted from the page as well. So like what will the previous page see? Will they see?
You always
or
get
will they see
you get cut right when you say what will the previous and then this is the part that I need to know in order to answer the question.
previous likers of the
The previous
likers of the local page?
Yeah.
Likeness?
Okay, so the people that currently have liked your page, they will automatically now be liking ICK in Malaysia page, like automatic. They don't need to do anything. So all of a sudden, when they look for ISEC in Malaysia, they will only find the national page. They will already be following this page, and they will see all the content that is on this page.
So that means they won't see any more local content, correct?
Yes, correct.
It's like the Isaac in Malaysia page is eating the pages, the
Yes.
small ones.
Yeah, correct. So I get it. So that means that the local content that had been previously posted, they will not see it anymore, correct?
Yeah, they will not see it anymore. Cool? All right.
Cool.
Okay. So do you feel like you have enough knowledge and everything to bring this back to your EB?
So I'm gonna be very fast, and then I will give the laptop to Xiaomei because she's gonna present EVMT bootcamp and NPM agenda for you for feedback. So yeah, so what to expect from MC Moonshot? Because I think there is some like confusion with some of the things that we are doing right now, and maybe some of you are not clear on what are the deadlines and when can you receive what from us. So that's why I'm gonna make it very clear. So one of the things that we're working on is EB transition. So the things that are done is one-to-one transition framework and LCVP for LCVP and LCP. And the things that you can expect by the end of this week, we will release some videos, like one video for each function that contains is very short and simple that just explains to the VP what is the content that they should be downscaling in the one-to-one transition, especially for the functional part. And also 21st of December, Xiaomei will launch the LTC agenda. So what the LTC agenda has is basically like the minimum topic that you should cover in your LTC, and also the output that we expect that comes from the LTC. For example, like what is your team, the team stand or the team like purpose or this kind of thing, like more of that kind of the culture or the planning, the more about like the culture that you want to see in your LC and that part of the planning. So that will be released. And then your role is to make sure that you finish transition by the 31st of December. At the same time, finish transition, the EB transition by the 8th of January. And for 2018 planning, the thing that is done already is the planning and census submission spreadsheet, where we are collecting what is the stage of planning right now for every LC. And the thing that you can expect is the LC planning framework and planning guidelines. So for planning framework will be released during IPM, the 25th of December, and planning guidelines will be given to you to the EBs elect during the session law in NPM, which is National Planning Meet. So your role is to support your successor with LC planning. So to clarify with them like how to do things, because it's similar to what you did last term. At the same time, is extremely more simple, but is the similar process law. So you can help out with things that they don't understand, and at the same time to give feedback and suggestion and ask questions to MC whenever we're releasing any materials. And don't wait for this kind of meeting to give us feedback. Like you can definitely just go see and then contact us directly, and then we can work on it. And then EBMT Bootcamp and NPM. So what's done right now is network sensing, as well actually the first draft agenda, which is the thing that we're going to present after this. And then after your feedback and MC feedback, we're going to finalize the agenda by the 25th of December. Then NPM preparation checklist will come along with the final agenda. And your role as LCP is to give feedback and ask questions at the same time, especially in this meeting, and also make sure that everyone is attending, like EBMT, the ones that are elected, and potential people also are attending the NPM and EBMT bootcamp, because if they don't attend, then they're gonna be extremely delayed in their planning law, like in their whole like situation, like in their, what's the name of that? In their term, on their term, yeah, they're gonna be lost. And then last point is NEB meeting. So for NEB meeting, what we've done is nothing much, like, to be honest. The only thing that we've done is have some discussion between me and Xiaomei on who's gonna be agenda manager, and then like what should be the topics that we should be talking about. So the things to expect is the final agenda by the 27th, because right now we're focusing a lot on planning, transition, and EBMT bootcamp and NPM. That's why we don't have the capacity to also do NEB meeting at the same time. So that's why the finalized agenda will be 27th of December. And the agenda will include topics such as LCP capacity building legislation, Dreaming Beyond AM 2017, LCP preparation for EBMT bootcamp and NPM. So for Dreaming Beyond AM 2017, that is the process that we really want you to be in, because basically it's that we're gonna build the milestones for the next 3 years, and we think that it's really important for generation 2017 of LCP to be included in that process. But we might also include you in some other session, so we still haven't decided. And I'm sorry that we haven't let you know, but by the 27th we will tell you lah, and then you can let us know what you think about that as well. Yeah. So your role as again, attend an EB meeting, no? And then we will give you the details. At the same time, give feedback and ask questions to any content that we're releasing to you. Yep. So that's all for things to expect from MC. And with that, I'm gonna pass to Xiaomei to talk about EBMT Bootcamp and NPM. So can you welcome Xiaomei Mei?
Whoa.
Hi everyone. How many people?
They don't clap for me. They just kidding.
Okay, so hi everyone. Wait.
So Eva,
So cute. I love you.
I'm very yellow. I just need a bit of a.
You
charge your laptop.
I need to charge.
Charge your laptop, man.
Nice. It's like saving life. Okay, you can see the screen at the same time. We'll post the link over here, and then I will. Wait, I think I can share with the way that you can comment it. So if you want to give any feedback, you can just comment. Yeah. Okay, everyone, I will put the link on the right hand side of the chat box, and then you can see that all. Okay.
can you share in the Telegram group or something? Cause I can't, because I'm on my phone now.
Wow, so many demand. Wait, let me check it out.
No lah.
Sorry, I'm just evil in general. Okay, so hey everyone. So just in case you didn't get the memo, I'm actually the agenda manager. Sophia and I are agenda manager for EBMT Bootcamp and NPM. So how are we going to do it is the reason why previously, if you know it, is Winter National Conference, right? Like from 23 until 27. That's the previous name. And I wish that in this space, I will communicate very, very clearly, although I really try in email every single communication channel, but I want to emphasize again the differences, okay? So when your people ask, hey, what is this? Then you can actually explain in the way that I'm trying to explain to you right now. So for the EBMT Bootcamp and NPM, the reason why we changed the name is because we want to make sure that the name itself can make people to have better expectations on the thing that on the activity or the event they are going to join. So because previously we name it as Winter National Conference, and then based on our past experience, a lot of people have very misaligned expectation on the conference itself because of the name, and then they think that the conference is just like a other conference. But to be honest, the content itself is not. It's very focusing on like planning that time. So right now, in this time, we want to make sure that if we change the name, we want to make sure that we can actually have a better mood setting. And when people come, they will have the right mindset about, okay, so in this part, this is actually about EBMT Bootcamp. So the thing that we'll be doing will be different. So this is the thing that why we change our name. So to let you know, in overall, EBMT Bootcamp objectives are actually making sure that first, people actually know about like how can they lead themselves and how can they lead others. And then in the end, how they can be ready for their leadership role in ISAC. So in the end of the day, what we want them to feel is like, I'm ready to be the team leader of ISAC in Malaysia. So that's the purpose of EBMT Bootcamp. While in National Planning Meet, which is NPM, will be focusing more on planning, strategy, this kind of thing. So EBMT Bootcamp will be for 2 days, which is 23 until 24, while NPM will be on 25, 26, and 27. Okay, so to let you know, in this space, I will present the agenda to you, and then after that, you can give me feedback or whatever. Like, let me know like what's the concern that you have, this kind of thing, and what's the suggestion you can make it better, so that I can actually improve the agenda. So to let you know, in EBMT Bootcamp, the first day, the key message is leadership at its best, which is being in the best state of myself, utilizing my strength, learn how to keep myself at my best state. So this is the Tuesday, this 23rd of January will be the day that people learn on how can I make sure that I can always be at my best state, and how can I make sure that my team can always be its best state. So the second part is leading a team to be at its best state, managerial principle, and avoid the pitfall of new manager. Because Sufe is actually reading a book about like the like leading a performing team, something like that. I don't remember the name.
Being a high performer.
Being a high performer to make and then that's why she gets some of the like idea from that, and also she also refer to the external on leadership conferences how they do it, and then she actually embed some of the good case practices into this conference. So we really want to make sure that this conference is really focusing on making sure our people are be ready to be a team leader in Isaac. So in the opening plenary, it's empty because it's gonna be a secret. No, actually, we are going to introduce chair as usual, this kind of thing, like setting the mood, and also like just starting like I will not explain much. Okay, so the second part is keynote, discovering myself through leadership experience. So this is to have a transition of mood into the EBMT boot camp by embedding the mindset or the mood of the plenary to discover their inner self. So I want this at the beginning. Along the experience, I discover more about myself and discover a much better version of myself. So this is the keynote is normally like a mood setting for the conference itself. So this is actually want people to start knowing that like today in the day itself, they will actually start to discover more on their inner self. And then after that, we have a session called A Walk to Self-Discovery, which is a practical session to enable delegates to discover themselves in the following: personal strength, work-related strength, fear, personal dream, and their expected dream leadership style. So we are going to do it like the concept of river of life, where you will draw your life like that, but we will not everyone sit down and do it, but we will do it in a way like a station game. So in first day itself, there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of game, like a lot of movement. That's why on the first day we don't really suggest to have such an agenda because it will be tiring. But of course we will look into agenda more. And then the second one is Maze Runner. So in Maze Runner is actually about practical workshop that allow delegate to experience the managerial principle and learn it through the debrief of the session. So first thing is like managing others for the potential management team, which is your director, and then managing manager for LCVP and managing functional manager for LCP. So this is to ensure that delegate experience the common manager pitfall and then how can and then how to say the session itself, we want to run it in a way that you actually experience a few things, which is like the common manager pitfall and also the managerial principle, and also find out your own leadership style. So in this one, because in Isaac, if you read the output that Eva sent to you about the clarity of who, one of the things that Isaac International has launched is actually the global competency model. So the global competency model actually include a lot of elements, and one of it is actually managerial principle.
Correct.
Yeah. So this is the thing, and then we want to make sure that people actually know like what is the managerial principle.
Correct.
So after that we have evening plenary. So so it's actually to key learning is actually transition from team member to team leader, to let them know that the mindset will be totally different once you become a team leader. It's no longer like team member like focusing on implementation. The reason why is because we realize that either in Malaysia, most of the middle management, either they are really relevant to the organization, where they contribute a lot in the extent that they implement to help the member to implement, and then member don't really have the chance to really implement, or in the way that they are not relevant at all and they just stay there and don't do shit. So that's the thing that happened. So we want to make sure that the expectation setting was right to the team leader. And after that, expectation and reality is never the same, so suck it up. So to understand that what you expect yourself to be and the reality will be totally different once you become team leader, and also understand that this is who you are and it's okay to embrace it, to embrace your strength rather than trying to be someone else, but really focusing on your own strength, and also accept that this is who you are, and and what kind of leadership that you can utilize as a person that stick true to yourself.
So cool.
So and then the second thing is day 2 would be like keynote is how I found my reason to be an Isaac leader, and then is to set a mood and mindset of finding the reason to be a leader of Isaac through the connection with the Isaac way and clarity of who. So so we actually think of like maybe we can embed this part into morning plenary, but we are seeing the progress of like final polishing the agenda. And then clarity of Isaac is to give the delegates the clarity of Isaac, which is the Isaac way, everything, and then from Isaac why, how, and what, and until who. So the delegate will know their role as an Isaac leader to contribute to the clarity of who, which is the whole Isaac thing. Okay, and then deliver in an impactful way, like how. This is her own notes, but we want to deliver in a way that how AI actually delivered to us. And then get to know my function, which is the time that you will have lunch with your MCVP, LCP will have lunch with MCP, and then after that you will create teams, then team shop, team ambitions, and connect the delegate the reason to apply with the clarity of the Isaac of the department. So we want them to understand that how then themselves, like for example, I'm from IGV, how can IGV actually play a role to contribute to the clarity of who and also the why and how and what. Yeah. And then after that, we'll have the next session called leading my function. So this is the part where it gets to very basic functional skill. So one of the things is like definitely timeline will be one of the education into it. And then yeah, so this is the part where we equip them like very, very basic minimum knowledge, so that when they proceed to planning part, they actually have the enough knowledge to do that, and then to prepare them as well. And then after that, evening plenary is to facilitate the delegate inner and outer journey, and then yeah, so it's to recap the whole 2 days experience in EBMT bootcamp. Yeah. So do you want to take a break before I continue with MPM, or you want to continue?
They should ask question about this.
Oh, okay. Do you want to ask question now?
So wait, question. So EB 2 days and the NPM is three. Is it 5 days, right? It's 5 days, right? So 2
Yes.
and 3, correct?
Yes, and please remember that it's not a choice that, hey, I feel like just join EBMT bootcamp and NPM. No, there's no that kind of bullshit. You join all together as one. Okay, it's come as a package. It's just that the session is break into 2 days. Yeah. So your people will be like, oh, I don't feel like joining this. No, you don't have a choice. You must join both. Yeah, sorry, a bit too aggressive, but this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, cool. All of you are so cute and nice and handsome and pretty. Oh, is there any questions? Good question, Mikey.
Also, actually, I want to ask about, you mentioned about how Abdul and Paula did it. Because like from my experience at APLS, I like the way how Paula did it. I'm not sure, are you referring to that for the clarity of Isaac? Were you referring to something similar to that, or was it something about when regional visited?
For us, it's
Okay.
regional visit, but definitely like if you have the past experience that you think that is really good, then you can actually actually like let us know and then suggest the delivery method, because you really like the one that how Paula deliver the clarity of who, right? The part, right?
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, is there any questions?
Cool.
Cool. Then I will proceed to the chat box. Did anyone type anything? Okay, yeah, I will continue. Okay, cool. So the next part is national planning meet. So for national planning meet, okay, make it smaller. Okay, this one control. Okay, so national planning meet, there will be 3 days. So this is the part where we focus a lot in planning. So the first one is we will have opening plenary. So we will set the mood again, but this time it's focusing on planning meet. So people will have to come in with the mindset that, hey, now I'm in the space that the first 2 days I'm focusing on how can I be a better person, how can I make sure the team can be at the best version, best state, and then how can I be the team leader for Isaac with the right mindset and also the skill and knowledge of being a team leader. And then after that, right now we back to the place is right now I know I'm the team leader of this organization. So what is my strategy? What is the direction that I'm going to drive in my entity to make sure that we can actually contribute to the Isaac way? So in these 3 days, the first day is understand our past. So it's more about like doing analysis of your LC. So like we're going to break into 4 parts, which is the first one is before we start, we're going to have a briefing for LC planning methodology to let people understand the full picture of things. Because my past experience is there are some people that actually they are a big picture person that they would like to know how's the whole planning process before they start, and there's people who actually like to enjoy the process piece by pieces. So by doing this briefing, we can actually fulfill the needs of 2 different people. Oh wait, continue talking. Yeah. So the another one is so the next one is our people, finance, operations, and this customer. Sorry, my bad. Okay, why I cannot change it one?
Because it's mine. I don't help editing, right?
I thought I gave it to you already. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the first one is our people. So the people would delegate will understand the reality of their LC membership, and delegate understand how to make membership core interview, and also have clear learning and way forward for their LC membership. And then the finance is they understand what is their current finance state, and also have clear learning and way forward for their finance. And operation is also understand their reality of their LC past performance and have basic understanding about IR, and also have clear learning and way forward for their LC performance. And this part is customer, which the delegate understand the reality of their LC past performance in terms of the complete standards and MOS. MOS is complete.
NPS.
Yeah, NPS score. And then I just realized that copy and paste I forget to change. Yeah, but in the end, is that they have clear learning and way forward for the LC performance. So these are the things. The first day we will be focused on this, which is mainly just data analysis. The data collection will be done before the NPM National Planning Meet. So in this space, we will just get the data they already have, and then we just start analyzing. And then the second thing is define our future. So in define our future, we will be working on like goal setting, like everyone set goal for their each function, and this is a part where everyone will be going to their own network. So OGV working together with marketing, and like PD will be split with IGT and then also IGV as well. So this is a part that we do goal setting with the product, mostly on product basis. And then back office, we were having their own goal setting for back office. So this is the part where they learn how to set the goal and conversion it for each functions, and then the delegate will set goal and conversion for the whole term. So for national planning meet, we are going to plan for not just the coming summer, but also both the summer and winter peak, so that we don't have to be so reactive every time when we reach the peak, so we can be more prepared for the whole term. And then after that, we have a session called growth strategy, where there will be 30 minutes. The MC VP of each function will actually brief to what is the growth strategy that for each different tier product should run. And then after that, we will proceed with strategy planning. So strategy planning, they will plan their strategy for whole term to achieve the goal that they set, and then also they will receive feedback for their plan and revise based on the feedback. So in this part, we will make sure that the synergy planning will be happen is together with OGV, will together with marketing, IGV together with PD, IGT together with PD, and then PMFR. Yeah, so this is the thing. And then of course in NEB itself, we will have a session that actually educate you what is your role as an LCP in EBMT Phuket and NPM, so that you actually know what kind of role you can play in the conference itself. And definitely you have some special role because you're LCP, LCP is special. Yeah. And then after that, we have a break, and then we have hack our performance. So hack our performance is a part where we identify what is the key bottleneck for national. A lot of time, like for example, OGV key bottleneck is probably like attraction part, where attraction always come late or the conversion rate is very bad. So this is a part where people identify what is the bottleneck they want to solve, and they come up solution together for the national. So and then everyone will implement the national solution. And then after that, we have two part sessions that your LC will split into two different groups, which one people will focusing on talent planning, and another one will focusing on finance planning. So for the talent planning, they will have clear plan about their talent planning, how many people they want to recruit, do they need to have MRD or not? And if they are going to have MRD, how are they going to balance between the MRD and also the coming attraction? Because a lot of time you do MRD at the same time you are also attracting people for sign up. So this is a part where a lot of people actually get confused, or they do not able to actually manage it. So we are going to deliver this to make sure to educate LC to know how to manage both things at the same time. And then finance planning is actually to make sure in the end of the day everyone have the clear budget of the plan. And why we do planning, financial planning after this is because of you need to make sure you have strategy first before you can do budgeting planning. So there's talent and finance planning. And then after that, the last day we will be having a keynote called The Secret of Performing Teams. So this will be mostly in the way and making dreams come true. So the first day we talk about our past. The second day we define our future, how we want our future to look like. And then after that, the third day is making the dream come true. So so the secret of performing team is to make sure that like delegate actually understand the importance of team synergy, team routine, and the consistency to achieve the goal. Because these are the three things that actually really makes a team to start performing. And it's not like a magical strategy that can make things happen. It's all about being consistent and people working together and having a consistent routine that can make consistency happen. So and then this is a keynote that let people like having the understanding on that. And then after that we have a LC consolidation where the delegate will consolidate the goal and present briefly their plan to the LC. So everyone who planned already on the previous day will sit down together and present briefly on their plan. And after that, we have a synergy time workshop which will educate LC on how to do better synergy, because this is often a problem that, like for example, for marketing and also OGV, sorry, not marketing anymore, B2C and CX OGV are always like the one that actually have like synergy problem, like always waiting for each other for things to happen. So this is a space where we really are focusing on that and really educate people on how to have synergy. And then after that, it's about setting the routine. How can we set the right routine in weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis, and also annually basis to support the strategy implementation? And then after that, in the end, we will launch our national direction together. So to a little bit of sneak peek in our NEB, we are going to design like what is the future of ISEC in Malaysia, which is what's after AM 2017. So in that spot, once we already finalize, we will actually launch it in the last day. So in this session, it will actually need the collaboration with LCP as well. So we will together with LCP and launch this national direction. And this national direction will be like compile all the goals together to let people know that this achieve is actually the way on how ISEC actually make an impact to the society, and then also to achieve peace and fulfillment of humankind potential. And after that, we have a closing which we facilitate the IOJ through the past 5 days and dedicate our high spirit to achieve that goal. So that's all for
the
NPM.
IOJ thing you told me today.
Yeah, so the IOJ thing is inner and outer journey. So a lot of times we always think like this kind of planning conference, a lot of time people actually will feel tired or they feel mentally challenged, like okay, there are so many things they need to learn in such a short time, and at the same time like it's in a very pressure situation where within short time they need to make decision on what kind of strategy they would take. So in the end of the day, in order to make sure that people can stay hype up and also stay positive about the experiences they've gone through and also the challenges they've gone through, the way to do that is actually to do a debrief based on inner and outer journey, which means that in the beginning, what's the challenge that you face, what are the support system, and also like what kind of learning that you actually reflect on yourself, how much you think that you have changed after these 3 days, these 5 days, and then what's the learning that you got from that, and then these are the things that help people to understand that the problem to help people understand that leadership development itself or growth itself is something that is uncomfortable, and it's something that's not enjoyable sometimes, and it's something that is painful in the sense that you have to be very uncomfortable and challenge yourself a lot and really asking yourself a lot of questions to make sure that you can really improve yourself. And in order to make sure that the experience can be an enjoyable one, or people really stay connected to this experience, is to let them know that this is part of the learning process and to let them see that what's the value behind the experience of this painful experience or uncomfortable experience, and then to actually let them to understand that hey, this is how much you grow after these 5 days, to let them see the value of the effort they have put in. That's why we want to put inner and outer journey in all the closing plenary, to let people understand that hey, every day what is the improvement that you see in yourself. Instead of like that, letting people feel like oh, I feel stressed, ISEC is very pressuring, I don't enjoy the journey, and then but after they end ISEC journey, maybe like 1 year or 2 years, then they only realize that oh, actually ISEC really teach me how to do this and this, and teach me how to learn that and that, and I'm able to be good in, for example, presentation because of ISEC. Only when they enter, then only they realize it. Well, why not we actually make them have this kind of realization when they're actually in their term, and then they actually be more appreciative of the learning and in themselves, and then this is how people can actually see the connection with themselves in this organization. Yeah, so that's all. So do you have any feedback, suggestions or question? You can use this space to voice it out.
I want to ask regarding our people finance operation, right? In that part, is it every EBMT will be discussed together and make inference together,
Yes.
like in one LP?
Yes.
So the data need to collect by the LCP, is that or who will collect the data beforehand?
The data beforehand, it will be collected by the EB, because okay, to let you know, we are going to launch a thing called EBMT preparation checklist. So before they come to EBMT bootcamp and NPM, they need to make sure that they fulfill the checklist. So the thing is, will be prepared by the EBMT elect, everyone. So the LCP can be the one who actually coordinate and everything to make sure everything is being filled in.
And the conference they already filled the things, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, understood.
Top A student.
Always.
So will there be a list of like pre-conference preparation like be sent out to the LCPs or even the EBs?
Yes, on the 25th.
I guess prepare well enough before for this conference.
Yes. So yeah. So this is something that just now Eva in the elect already mentioned just now.
No, here.
Oh, here, sorry. Yeah. So it's actually mentioned in this slide. Yeah, you can refer to it just in case you forget. Yeah, it's actually the LC planning. Wait, no, not this one. Yeah, this one. And then do you see that this NPM preparation
okay,
checklist? Yeah, so it will be sent by 25th of December. So yeah, and then you will get the checklist for you to make sure that you fulfill everything before you start.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, is anyone asking questions because I cannot hear anything? Okay. Have a lost connection. Hello.
What do they think about the agenda?
Yeah, what do you all think about the agenda? What do you all
Cool
think?
for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have any general comments? What do you think about this agenda? EVMT Bootcamp and NPM?
I got one concern is on the national, the last. So this some the LCP elect or EBMT elect that should have certain understanding on this direction before they start to do planning. Because I just afraid that when they do planning, it will be very, very diverse one. So after that, I'm scared that they cannot align with the national directions. If we elect, we need to need to guide the people to that direction.
Okay. Yes. Thank
Like
you.
without intentionally.
Okay. Thank you for raising out. Eva will help me to take note on that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. Yeah. Anyone have anything that you think would be good to have, or the flow, everything? Because one of the reasons why I present to you, all of you, is you have the experience, like you know how would your EVMT elect would experience, and you can give suggestions here.
We especially want to make it better than last year.
Yeah, and we definitely want to improve the experience compared to the last
I actually got a
conference.
suggestion.
Yes.
Okay, compared to, from my experience in the previous term, right, because normally the planning time in the it's not very enough for us to actually complete all the things we're supposed to do. So I would suggest, if possible, perhaps by the end of the day, perhaps can locate in time the need everything for the day that's supposed, so it can accumulate after the conference.
So
After the conference to complete everything.
can you repeat again? Because it's a bit lag. Can you repeat again? Sorry.
Okay. It was like for the past term, the WNC that I attended, I realized that a lot of things that we actually couldn't complete because I think we were not very competent enough to actually fulfill all the tasks on time based on the planned agenda. So what we didn't exactly had time also to actually complete the tasks we had to do on the day itself. So what we had to do was after post-conference. And I realized that if we do it post-conference, what will happen is quite hectic, and a lot of things that is like you can't exactly do properly without the guidance and support from MC in that sense. So I would suggest, if not the day, maybe we base with the LC for the planning itself, like especially the NPM, the planning aspect.
You mean like to have a post NPM that MC as the person to be there?
I would say based on the, I just an idea lah, something like based like at each day at the end of the day, because like there's a specific outcome for each day. So but to ensure that each LC has the specific outcome by the end of the day, so that it doesn't drag after the conference in that sense.
Yes, you mean a progress check, is it?
Yeah, something like that, I would say, yes.
Yeah. So one of the idea that I have is like during the end, because we will ask feedback form for the conference, right? So I'm thinking to put the planning checklist for each day to embed in the feedback form. So once you give feedback, you can actually put the tick there, so we can know. Yeah. Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you.
Okay.
Good, Mike.
Alright, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Anyone? Michelle, James, Olivia, and Aliu.
Cool for me.
Okay, cool. Michelle, Bebe, also cool. Okay, cool. Wait, I just saw this 29, 27. Okay,
think for me it's cool. Don't have any questions. I mean, the question I wanted to ask was already been asked, especially the one about the post NPM, because last time WNC we experienced the same thing that we couldn't finish all up during that time.
Mm.
So yeah, all my questions have been addressed already.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, thank you so much. I will take that into consideration and then I'll revise the agenda again. Yeah. So thank you so much. That's all from me. Yeah, I will pass it back to Eva.
Thanks, Xiaomei.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you, Xiaomei.
Okay, so
Bye, MCP.
okay.
Minute.
Hello, I'm the only MCP. I'm the only MCP.
Now,
Okay lah. Soon
I have
enough.
one question, Eva.
Oh my God, yes, tell me. You wanna apply for MCP? Cannot anymore.
PM?
What?
Do we need to attend NPM
No.
or only NEB?
No. So there is an email called Key Events in January. You can go there and everything is there. It says everything of where you need to attend, what you don't need to attend. Yeah, that's it. So I will design a very beautiful wallpaper for you to put in your phone that says where you need to be when. Because I think people forget. Then you can put a wallpaper on. I'm sorry, Olivia. It's because everyone keep asking us the same thing and I don't know how to clarify. So I will clarify one last time. There are 3 things happening in January. NEB, NPM, EVMT Bootcamp. EVMT Bootcamp and NPM are the same thing. I mean, are at the same in the same period of time. And all EB elects, MT elect, potential MT, and LCP elect must be there. Okay, everyone should be there. EVMT Bootcamp and NPM. LCP current, you need to be in NEB meeting together with your successor. And the amount of time that you need to be during an NEB meeting, I don't know yet. I will tell you 27th of December when the agenda is finalized. Okay? Clear, right? Yeah. So I will let you know. But for now, you only need to be in NEB. And then you can go trip to Thailand with the LCPs. Because I know you bitches are going. Without me. Fucking like don't care about me. You also not going. If I'm not going, you are not going. But okay, cool. So yeah. So then I know that we are late because we should have finished 4 minutes ago. At the same time, I still need to take your time from you. So I'm so sorry for that, and I hope this is the only time that I do that. But then it's the very last, the last topic, and it's really fast. And I don't think we can make any decision because not everyone is here. So this is about EBMT Bootcamp and NPM and NEB and everything chair. So why are we talking about this? Because you know, like the kind of conference that we want to do is extremely challenging, especially if you went to WNC. You can know that like me and my team were like working like our asses off, like burning our eyelashes every day to make sure that the conference will be good. Because last time when we did a planning conference, it was extremely bad. Like people are like crying and they wanna die, and then it was really bad lah. So then that's why for this one we really want to make it like the best thing that we can do in every little thing that we do, like in terms of environment, in terms of like the experience that we want to create, who's gonna be the facies, and then how every session is gonna be designed. Like I can really let you know that the standard that we're setting for ourselves is extremely high. Because we really want to make sure that the EBMT is extremely ready to provide the best experience to their member, so that member can perform and provide the best experience for the EP. That is our logic and our plan. And then for that, we need a fucking kick-ass, amazing, the best chair that we can find in the world. At the same time, AI 1617 is like all around the world wandering, and it's impossible for them to come because most of them are starting their jobs, and I've been trying to get one of them to be our chair for like the past 5 months, and she cannot do it. And then most of AI team 1617 is extremely busy, and AI team 1718, which is the current AI team, is going to be doing drip planning and preparing IPM because they're doing the same thing than us, right? They also need to deliver conference for me and my beautiful successor or horrible successor. I don't know actually how they will look like, but actually both of them not really pretty, but whatever. So me and my successor that are going to go to IPM, then we need to like the AI is really busy lah. So the point here is that because of that, then we don't have people from AI that can come to chair, and then a lot of entities in AP are also doing conference at the same time, and they're also electing their successor at the same time because our timeline is very similar. So what it comes to the point is that getting a chair for this conference is going to be really expensive because we need to get someone that is extremely good. At the same time, it's not from the AP region because everyone is having conference, and at the same time, it's not from AI, which is people that normally are in Europe, which is okay, is like a good budget for us to pay. So with that context, which is what's happening right now, while me, Cynthia, and Sufei are trying to find a chair, we have a proposal, which is Lara Silveiro, which is a Brazilian girl who was MC in Brazil. I don't know if she was MC in Brazil or, but I think she was MC in Brazil. And then she was MC in India. So she was MC in Brazil one term, MC in India one term, and MC in India 0.5 terms. So she was MC in India one term and a half, and MC in Brazil. And then she was TM and OD. And currently, she is one of the AI seeders working on TM process implementation as well as Isaac Hub implementation. So she's the one working with Hans, who is Sufei's other boss, like working on all the stuff like team standards and everything. So basically, she's a genius from the most top performing entity in the world, and she's extremely nice and kind, and she wants to, I mean, she is willing to come to chair for us. At the same time, it costs 10K. So that's why I put their AI seeder, Lara Silveiro, 10K. 10K is how much it costs us to bring her, which is a lot of money. So I was talking with Cynthia and Sufei, and we were discussing about it. Like, if we really want to bring this person, it will cost us a lot of money, right? And then some of the things that we're thinking is like, what can she do so that our investment makes sense? So that it's not only chairing the conference, but she can bring more value to the entity. So one thing she can do is she can be chair for NAB meeting and help us a lot with LCP capacity building, like event driven process, all this stuff, because she has experience in TM and OD. So she can be extremely helpful for Xiaomei and Sufei and for the LCPs during NAB meeting, and also for me as MCP, I think. And at the same time, she can do all kinds of TM consultancy during the conference if it's needed, and helps Sufei a lot with all the TM content for the conference. At the same time, she can chair MC replanning, or she can also do like consultancy for Xiaomei and Sufei in terms of what they're gonna do for their term as MCVPs. So we have three things. Oh yeah, and then another thing that I didn't put here is about her doing TTT to train everyone that is gonna be doing EBMT bootcamp and NPM facilitation, and we can also open the TTT for the whole network, especially for her to train people on storytelling and facilitation skills. So the idea, like, we have a lot of options of things that she could be doing with us, and she could be staying for like I think it's around 8 days after the conference extra that she can be working on these things with us. So like NEB meeting, TM consultancy, OD consultancy, all these things. So the point here is that it's someone that can be extremely useful for us, especially because as an MC team, our focus is a lot on internal capacity of the network, OD and TM, and infrastructure implementation and all this stuff, which is what means when we talk about unleashing our people, basically like improving the organization from within. She can be a very good asset. So after saying all of those words, our proposal is for MC to invest 2K extra, plus we already talked with the OC, they're gonna play 1.5K, but that still doesn't give us 10K. So our proposal is that LCs can pay 6.5K, yay, because you're more than us. And then we have two ways that this can be done. So one way can be every LC gives 500 ringgit except for KP because they're hosting, and I mean, like, yeah, they're already paying from the OC part. Or the second option is to distribute based on capacity. So what that means is like if an LC makes more money or has more money, then they pay a bit more. So I don't know exactly how. I would need to ask Cynthia to make a distribution for like distribution model for us to find how to distribute the 6.5K. So yeah, so definitely this is not the best scenario lab, but why we're asking about this is because we really think that if we really want to have this kind of experience, if you really want to make sure that your entity is like that your LCs have a good experience during EBMT bootcamp and they can plan and all these things, we really need to invest more in getting someone that is really good. If we don't pay for this person to come, like we of course we can find another person, but I don't think it can be someone who can really provide as much as she can provide in the experience. Because Lara is a very strong person. She has a very, very strong personal story that I don't think I should be telling you about, but she has a very strong personal story. And yeah, extremely inspiring. And also, she comes from very high performing entities who can really help us to improve Isaac in Malaysia. So, yeah, based on this, I want to know what are your thoughts, Lo? Because it's really not a lot of money, La. Yeah, that's it. So, what do you think?
let's see. It's either 10K or 6.5, right?
Eh? No. It's 6.5.
LC's pay 6.5.
Yeah. MC
And
for
then-
sure will
oh,
pay
okay.
2K, OC 1.5, and all LCs together is 6.5. So either you pay 500 ringgit, which is the average divided by 13 LCs, excluding KP, or you pay way less or more depending on distribution. So it depends on what we decide. Do we decide that every LC pays the same, or do we decide that we do a distribution based on capacity, financial capacity of the LC?
I think it would be good to consider financial capacity also.
Okay, then I think you will be paying more, like, by the way. But yeah, because TU has money, lah. But I'm not sure. Yeah, tell me.
Ewa, like the latest by when roughly we need to pay for the money for this seeder to come.
Okay. Actually, we need to know first if we wanna do it, lah. But in terms of payment, I think, like, because she's coming in January, right? So I guess it will be good for us to buy her ticket as soon as possible. I'm in a meeting. To buy her ticket as soon as possible. So maybe like end of December, beginning of January.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to confirm with Cynthia.
Give a little bit because right now like in UMP right, we have total about like 2K in 2 to 3K. And because like my concern is we're gonna run IGV operation at the same time running SRC. So maybe maybe like if we have a figure like we know how much we need to pay and by when we need to pay, maybe we'll able to help us to help us to make the decision.
Okay, lo? So I will tell Cynthia to come up with the formula on distribution, which I think it will probably be using the same formula like we use for NAF or something like that. And then that's how we can distribute.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the input. Anyone else?
I think I'm okay for this. Like I would say, like it's good. It's a good investment, I guess, to have a really good good conference output, which will really affect the tone of the term, lah.
Okay, lo. So things that you would like to see is the distribution option and by when, right? So that we can make better decision, right?
Yep, clear. Yep, agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I will talk to Cynthia after this, and then I will let you know, lo. Probably tomorrow or the day after. I will ask her and see how we can make it very fast for the distribution. Yep. So that will be all then, if no questions more, and then we can go into what went well and even better if. So you can just like tell me and I will take it, lo.
What went well is why call me.
Okay.
Seriously, I thought like the meeting cancelled because like I forgot like everyone already in the group chat and I was not aware. Sorry.
Okay lah. Thanks, Kogwai. Okay, anyone else?
What went well, I think, was very informative. I got to know about the agenda and a lot of the LTC and EVMT bootcamp and everything. I think it's very good for, coming from an elect perspective to actually give us some info on this. Perhaps even better if hopefully the other elects can get some information on this as well.
But yeah, I think another one went well is this video, like this meeting is recorded, so I think we can share this video to the elect.
Okay, true as well, true.
I think like another thing that went well, especially was like the Facebook page explanation, because it's like a big debate for a lot of people. So I would say the presentation of it was really clear. The timeline and how the technical parts of it work. So I think that is really a key point lah, to really allow us to convince the LCVPs and the LC as a whole to get on board with this.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else? What one will even better if?
Wave.
Kogwai. Okay, cool. Awesome, Kogwai and Mike and James and Olivia and you and Michelle. So that is great. Thank you all for coming, especially for the currents. Thank you for still being here until the last day. Actually, you have a lot of time left. You have a lot of time still that you need to be here with me, hustling for Isaac in Malaysia. And thank you so much. I love you very much. And please help me to tell the